The true story of the O J Simpson murder case. On a quiet summer night, June 12, 1994, the city of Los Angeles felt calm, almost ordinary. Street lights flickered softly, and the world seemed at peace. But behind the gates of a modest home in Brentwood, something horrific had already unfolded, something that would soon grip the entire nation. Outside her residence, Nicole Brown Simpson was found brutally murdered. Not far from her lay Ron Goldman, a young man who had come only to return a pair of glasses. The scene was violent, chaotic, and deeply disturbing. It wasn't just a crime, it was a moment frozen in brutality. Investigators quickly realized this wasn't random. This was personal. As news broke, shockwaves spread. And then, almost immediately, suspicion turned toward one man. O J Simpson. He wasn't just any suspect. He was a legend. A former NFL superstar, a household name, a man admired across America. But beneath that polished image was a history many had ignored, reports of domestic violence, a troubled relationship with Nicole, and a past that now seemed impossible to overlook. When police moved closer, expecting cooperation, they were met with something no one expected. Simpson disappeared. Soon, the entire country was watching live television as a white Ford Bronco crawled along the highways of Los Angeles. Inside was O J Simpson. Behind him, dozens of police cars. Above him, news helicopters broadcasting every second. It wasn't a high-speed chase. It was slow, eerie, almost surreal. People gathered on overpasses, waving, cheering, as if witnessing history unfold in real time. 4 hours, America stood still. Eventually, Simpson surrendered. But that was only the beginning. The trial that followed in 1995 would become known as the trial of the century. Courtrooms turned into stages. Lawyers became celebrities. Every argument, every objection, every piece of evidence was dissected by millions watching from their homes. The prosecution argued a clear and powerful case: jealousy, rage, and a violent end. They presented blood evidence, timelines, and a narrative that pointed directly at Simpson. To them, the story was simple. But the defense had a different plan. Led by a high-profile legal team, they attacked the investigation itself. They questioned how evidence was collected, how it was handled, and whether it could even be trusted. They introduced doubt, carefully, strategically, turning certainty into confusion. Then came the moment that would define everything. A glove, found at the crime scene, stained with blood, was presented in court. Prosecutors believed it was key evidence. They asked Simpson to try it on in front of the jury. The courtroom fell silent. Simpson pulled at the glove. It didn't seem to fit. It was a small moment, but its impact was enormous. That's when defense attorney Johnny Cochran delivered the line that would echo across history. "If it doesn't fit, you must acquit." In that instant, doubt took center stage. Months of testimony, arguments, and tension led to one final day, October 3, 1995. The entire nation paused. Offices stopped. Schools turned on televisions. Millions waited for a single decision. The verdict was read. Not guilty. The reaction was immediate and explosive. Some people celebrated, seeing the verdict as justice served. Others were stunned, believing a guilty man had walked free. The country didn't just react, it divided. Conversations about race, fame, and the justice system erupted everywhere. But the story didn't end in that courtroom. Years later, in a civil trial, Simpson was found liable for the deaths of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. He was ordered to pay millions in damages. Legally, it wasn't the same as a criminal conviction, but it added another layer to an already complex story. Even today, the questions remain. What truly happened that night in Los Angeles? Was justice served, or was it lost in a storm of fame, media, and doubt? The O J Simpson murder case became more than just a crime. It became a symbol of how power, perception, and truth can collide in ways that leave the world uncertain. Because sometimes, the most famous cases don't give clear answers. They leave behind something far more haunting. A story that refuses to end. For more real, dark, and thrilling crime stories, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Real Crime Stories USA, and stay tuned for the next story.